So it's a delightful moment for Madhrubhumi Books that we are publishing Athijeevanam, an autobiography by Dr. Vishwas Mehta. And it's now, I think it's almost like a farewell function for Dr. Vishwas Mehta. And on March 15th, he will be leaving Kerala, and he was in Kerala for the last 37 years. And he served as the Chief Secretary of the State and then Chief Information Commissioner here in Kerala. I think he reached Kollam in 1986, if I am not wrong. So in a farewell function, the person will be given too many gifts and all. I mean, that's the usual thing that happens. But Dr. Vishwas Mehta has given us a valuable gift as a book, and it's almost like a service story, as Prince has said. And it's about his education and how he lived in Rajasthan, his birthplace in Dungarpur. And actually the Dungarpur reminds me always Raj Singh Dungarpur, and he was a great cricket administrator. And how he fulfilled his father's dream and his initial days in Kerala. And he was a reluctant civil service officer when he reached Kerala, I mean, in 86. The kind of facilities given to the IAS officers at that point of time was very limited, and he found it very hard to live here in Kerala. Anyway, and now he went on to become the Chief Secretary of the State and then the Chief Information Commissioner. And anyway, I mean, it is, I like one point in that book. I mean, yesterday I just rushed through the book. And he never used the word I. Nyan ennoru vaakku aa pusthakathililla. He used I mean, Vishwas, it's the story of Vishwas Mehta. I think you all should read the book and how he lived in Kerala and how he challenged the crisis, especially during the COVID time. And his postings from one place to another, and how he dealt with the bureaucracy, his colleagues, and his supporting staff and all. And it's a wonderful experience. And let me come to the point. And our Honorable Governor would be releasing the book. And Dr. Arif Mohammed Khan, and I think he is the most active governor that we have ever seen in Kerala, at least in my memories. So I welcome Dr. Arif Mohammed Khan to this function. And we have Dr. V. Venu, our Chief Secretary, and he is a creative soul also. I mean, more than an able administrator. I welcome you, sir. Then we have Dr. Tom Jost, and he is also a former Chief Secretary. Sir, I welcome to this function. Then we have two people here, and Shri Loknath Behra and Shri Rishraj Singh. And Dr. Vishwas Mehta has a special connection with these people, because Vishwas Mehta was selected to IPS service. He was into Indian Police Service, and that was in 1985. And these two people were his batchmates. So it was interesting to see Dr. Vishwas Mehta's photograph with Rishraj Singh in that book. And we could see these people in their 20s. So I welcome both of them to this function. So, I mean, it's a very happy moment for us, as I said earlier. And I welcome all of you, most of the colleagues of Dr. Vishwas Mehta, they are here. Dr. Vishwas Mehta's family members are also here, and I welcome all of you. Thank you.
This has been written in Malayalam. Naturally, the book is in Malayalam, so the foreword is also in Malayalam. So those of you who won't understand Malayalam, kindly bear with me. ചാട്ടം പിഴയ്ക്കാതെ, that is a headline given to this. ആത്മകഥകൾ പലതും അങ്ങനെയാണ്. ഞാനും പിന്നെ ഞാനും, എനിക്ക് ശേഷം പ്രളയം. ലോകമെന്ന വിശാല വൃത്തത്തിൽ ചെറുബിന്ദുവായി എനിക്കും എൻ്റേതായ ഒരു ഇടമുണ്ട് എന്ന് കരുതാനുള്ള അവകാശം എല്ലാവർക്കുമുണ്ട്. പിന്നിട്ട കാലങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് സ്വാഭിമാനത്തോടെ ഓർക്കാനും ആ ഓർമ്മകൾ പങ്കുവെക്കാനുമുള്ള വ്യഗ്രത മനുഷ്യ സഹജമാണ്. എന്നാൽ ചില ആത്മകഥകൾ വ്യത്യസ്തമാണ്. ആ വലിയ ലോകത്തെ ഏകാന്തപഥികനായി തെരുവ് കാഴ്ചകൾ കണ്ട് നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു സഞ്ചാരിയെപ്പോലെ കാലത്തിലൂടെ നടന്നു പോവുക, അത് അവാച്യമായ ഒരു അനുഭവമാണ്. അതാണ് ഈ പുസ്തകം നൽകുന്നത് എന്നാണ് അദ്ദേഹം പറയുന്നത്. വിശ്വാസ് മേത്തയുടെ ജീവിതകഥയിലൂടെ നടന്നു നീങ്ങുമ്പോൾ ഒരു കലൈഡോസ്കോപ്പിൽ എന്ന പോലെ അദ്ദേഹം പിന്നിട്ട വഴികൾ, നേടിയ അനുഭവങ്ങൾ, തൻ്റെ മനസ്സിലെ സ്വാധീനിച്ച ചിന്താധാരകൾ, വ്യക്തിത്വത്തെ രൂപപ്പെടുത്തിയ മാതാപിതാക്കൾ ഒക്കെ ഒളിഞ്ഞും തെളിഞ്ഞും മിന്നിയും മറഞ്ഞും ഇതിലെ കഥാകഥന രീതിയും വ്യത്യസ്തമാണ്. കലാകാരൻ തന്നെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള കഥകൾ നേരിട്ട് അവതരിപ്പിക്കുകയല്ല ചെയ്യുന്നത്. തന്നിൽ നിന്നും അല്പം അകന്നു നിന്ന് ഒരു കാഴ്ചക്കാരൻ്റെ കൺകോണിലൂടെ തൻ്റെ ജീവിതത്തെ നോക്കിക്കാണുകയും നിസ്സംഗതയോടെ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു തനത് ശൈലിയാണ് ഈ രചനയിൽ മുഴുനീളം ഉള്ളത്. ഹൃദ്യമായ ഒരു കാവ്യധാര പോലെ ഈ രചനാ നിർജ്ജരി അനുസ്യൂതം പ്രവഹിക്കുന്നു. ഇതിൽ കാലമുണ്ട്, കലയുണ്ട്, അനുഭവങ്ങളുണ്ട്, വേദനകളുണ്ട്, മനുഷ്യത്വമുണ്ട്, കുന്നുണ്ട്, കുഴിയുണ്ട്, വെയിലുണ്ട്, മലയുണ്ട്, ഇരുളുണ്ട്, വെളിച്ചവുമുണ്ട്. ഒരു സാധാരണ വ്യക്തിയുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ അവരോഹണങ്ങളുടെ കണക്ക് പുസ്തകമാണ് ഈ രചന എന്ന് പറയാം. രാജസ്ഥാനിലെ ഒരു ഗ്രാമപ്രദേശത്ത് ജനിച്ച കുട്ടി, സാധാരണ കുടുംബത്തിൽ പിറന്നവൻ, ദേഷ്യക്കാരനും കർക്കശക്കാരനുമായ അച്ഛൻ, ഒപ്പം അതീവ ബുദ്ധിമാനും തീക്ഷ്ണമായ ഓർമ്മശക്തി ഉള്ളവനുമാണ്. അമ്മയാകട്ടെ കുടുംബത്തിനും മക്കൾക്കും വേണ്ടി മാത്രം ജീവിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പരമസാധ്വി. അവൻ ജീവിതത്തെ കാണുന്നു, ജീവിതം അവനെ തിരിച്ചറിയുന്നു. അച്ഛൻ അവന് നല്ല വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം നൽകുന്നു. അവൻ നേടിയ അറിവിനെ അമ്മ തിരിച്ചറിവാക്കി മാറ്റുന്നു. ശ്രീ പരമേശ്വരനും പാർവതിയും തമ്മിലുള്ള ബന്ധത്തെ കാളിദാസൻ വിവരിക്കുന്നത് വാക്കും അർത്ഥവും തമ്മിലുള്ള ബന്ധം എന്നാണ്. അറിവും ജീവിതവും തമ്മിലുള്ള പാരസ്പരിക ബന്ധം ഇങ്ങനെയാണെന്ന് യുവാവായ വിശ്വാസിൽ അച്ഛനും അമ്മയും ആഴത്തിൽ കോറിയിടുന്നു. അച്ഛൻ മകനൊരു പുതിയ ആകാശവും പുതിയ ഭൂമിയും തുറന്നുകൊടുത്തു. അതിലൂടെ സഞ്ചരിക്കാൻ മനസ്സിനെ പ്രാപ്തനാക്കുകയായിരുന്നു യുവാവായ വിശ്വാസ്. ONGC പോലെ ഒരു പൊതുമേഖലാ സ്ഥാപനത്തിൽ ചെറുപ്രായത്തിൽ തന്നെ ഉയർന്ന വേതനത്തിൽ നിയമനം ലഭിച്ച ഒരു യുവാവിന് താൻ എത്തേണ്ടിടത്ത് എത്തി എന്നൊരു തോന്നലുണ്ടാവുക സ്വാഭാവികം. അതാണ് പുതിയ ആകാശവും പുതിയ ഭൂമിയും തുറന്നു കൊടുക്കുക വഴി അച്ഛൻ മാറ്റിയെടുത്തത്. അങ്ങനെ തികഞ്ഞ അർപ്പണബോധത്തോടുകൂടി തൻ്റെ അച്ഛൻ്റെ സ്വപ്നം സാക്ഷാത്കരിക്കാൻ വിശ്വാസ് എന്ന യുവാവ് ഊണും ഉറക്കവുമില്ലാതെ ശ്രമിച്ചു. അച്ഛനായിരുന്നു മാർഗദീപം എന്നീ പുസ്തകത്തിൽ വളരെ വ്യക്തമായി പറയുന്നുണ്ട് പലയിടത്തിൽ. ഒരിടത്ത് ഒരു ചെറുപ്പക്കാരനുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഫുട്ബോൾ കളിക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹമുണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ കളി പോരാ. എങ്കിലും ടീമിൽ കയറണമെന്ന് വാശി. നിർബന്ധത്തിന് വഴങ്ങി കോച്ച് അയാൾക്ക് ഇടം കൊടുത്തു. അന്ന് അവൻ കളം നിറഞ്ഞ് കളിച്ചു. പുറകെ ഗോളടിച്ചു. ടീമിൻ്റെ അഭിമാനം രക്ഷിച്ചു. കോച്ച് ചോദിച്ചു, നീ ഇന്ന് നന്നായി കളിച്ചു, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടായോ? അപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞു, അച്ഛൻ എൻ്റെ കളി കാണുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കോച്ച് ചോദിച്ചു, നിൻ്റെ അച്ഛൻ സദസ്സിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ലല്ലോ? അവൻ പറഞ്ഞു, അച്ഛൻ 4 നാൾ മുമ്പ് മരിച്ചുപോയി, മുകളിലിരുന്ന് എന്നെ കാണുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. വിശ്വാസിൻ്റെ ചാലകശക്തിയും മറ്റൊന്നുമായിരുന്നില്ല, സ്വന്തം അച്ഛൻ തന്നെ. വിശ്വാസ് മേത്തയെ എനിക്ക് വ്യക്തിപരമായി വളരെ അടുത്തറിയാം. ഞാൻ കൊല്ലം ജില്ലാ കളക്ടറായിരുന്നപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം പരിശീലനത്തിനായി എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് വന്ന നിമിഷം മുതൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പുസ്തകം വായിച്ചു തീരുന്ന ഈ നിമിഷം വരെ എനിക്കറിയാം. നിത്യജീവിതത്തിലെ ഗതിവിഗതികളും മാനസിക വ്യാപാരങ്ങളുമൊക്കെ കൗതുകത്തോടെ നോക്കിക്കാണാനും വ്യക്തിപരമായി വിലയിരുത്തൽ നടത്താനും എനിക്ക് ധാരാളം അവസരങ്ങളുണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആദ്യ ദിവസം തന്നെ എൻ്റെ മനസ്സിൽ അദ്ദേഹത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് പതിഞ്ഞ ചിത്രം വളരെ വ്യക്തവും ഹൃദ്യവുമാണ്. ചലനാത്മകമായ വ്യക്തിത്വം, സ്ഥിരോത്സാഹം, എന്തിനേയും ഏതിനേയും മുൻവിധിയില്ലാതെ നോക്കിക്കാണാനുള്ള മനസ്ഥിതി, അടിവരയിട്ട് പറയേണ്ട മൗലിക മാനേജ്മെൻറ്റ് ശാസ്ത്രത്തിൽ പറയുന്ന വിൽ ഡു ആൻഡ് ക്യാൻ ഡു ഫാക്ടേഴ്സ് സമഞ്ജസമായി സമ്മേളിച്ച ഒരു വ്യക്തിത്വം. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് സബ് കളക്ടറായിരുന്നപ്പോഴും കളക്ടറായപ്പോഴും പിന്നീട് ചീഫ് സെക്രട്ടറി ആയപ്പോഴും അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് തൻ്റേതായ വ്യക്തിമുദ്ര പതിപ്പിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞത്. മുളയിൽ അറിയാം മുളക്കരുത്ത് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. ഉദ്യോഗസ്ഥ പ്രമുഖനായ വിശ്വാസിൻ്റെ പ്രവർത്തന ശൈലി കാണുമ്പോൾ ഹീ നോസ് ദ വേ, ഹി ഗോസ് ദ വേ ആൻഡ് ഷോസ് ദ വേ എന്നറിയാതെ തന്നെ ഒരു വിലയിരുത്തൽ മനസ്സിൽ ഉണ്ടായിപ്പോവും. ഈ രചനയിൽ വ്യക്തിയും രചനയും പരസ്പര പൂരകങ്ങളായി മാറുന്ന ഹൃദ്യമായ കാഴ്ചയാണ് നാം കാണുന്നത്. ഇതിൽ മാറ്റിവെക്കാൻ ഒന്നുമില്ല, കൂടുതലുമില്ല, കുറവുമില്ല. ഒരു അന്യസംസ്ഥാനക്കാരൻ കേരളത്തിൽ വന്ന് ഈ നാടിനെ രണ്ടാം വീടായി മാറ്റുമ്പോൾ ആ മാറ്റത്തിൻ്റെ പിന്നിൽ ഉള്ള ചേതോവികാരം എന്ത് എന്ന് ഈ പുസ്തകം മനസ്സിലാക്കി തരും. മണ്ടൂകത്തിൻ്റെ അതിജീവനം, ആദ്യം ഇട്ടിരുന്ന പേരതാണ്. അതിജീവനം എന്ന വേറിട്ട ആത്മകഥ കേരളത്തിലെ മാന്യ വായനക്കാർക്ക് മുമ്പിൽ സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം സമർപ്പിക്കുന്നു. വായന ലോകം ഇത് രണ്ട് കൈയും നീട്ടി സ്വീകരിക്കും എന്ന് തന്നെയാണ് ഉറച്ച വിശ്വാസം. This is what Dr. Anand Bose had given as a foreword to this book. Well, in this foreword, he has written about the many traits of Dr. Vishwas Mehta. But I'm sure that Shri, former Chief Secretary, Shri Tom Jose sir, would be knowing a little more about Dr. Vishwas Mehta. And so I heartily welcome him to introduce the author to this audience. Shri Tom Jose sir.
His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of Kerala, Shri Arif Mohammed Khan, my colleague and the person I am introducing, Dr. Mehta, Chief Secretary Dr. Venu, Mr. Rishraj Singh, Mr. Loknath Behra, Mr. Rajiv Devrajan, ladies and gentlemen. I am not very sure how I am going to introduce Vishwas Mehta because he probably doesn't need any introduction. So this is probably kind of reintroducing him as a person. Almost something like reintroducing a product, a new improved version of the old Vishwas Mehta who has actually written a book. And when he told me about this book which he has written, I must confess that it gave me a lot of inspiration. So immediately I told my wife that, well, Vishwas has written a book, so I must also now write a book. And I'm sure that Preeti has certainly given him a lot of support. Therefore, you got to support me. At least, make some black coffee every day in the morning so that I'll get motivated to write the book. Well, that is, I think that's one of the things which I certainly am going to do. Vishwas and I go a long way back. I think first we had very close interaction when he was sub-collector of Wayanad. Later on, he became collector of Wayanad. So I went to visit Wayanad, and those days I was young, brash, quite adventurous. So I wanted to visit the game sanctuaries in Wayanad. These days, I am middle-aged, not so adventurous, but still at that time, I wanted to spend some time. I went there, we had a wonderful time, he took me around. I fancied myself at that time also as an environmentalist, and I found kind of a kindred spirit in Vishwas Mehta. One of the things which struck me at that time was that Wayanadil oru cheriya oru lake undu, Pukod Lake. So we went boating in that. So I asked him, why don't you have motorized boats? So his reply was that no, it would harm the environment because the diesel in any case is going to leak into the water. So therefore we will use only rowboats, which actually you row the boats. And he took me around, we took the oars, we went around the lake. I still hope that no mechanical motorized boats have been introduced in Pukod Lake so far. That was a kind of commitment which I found in Vishwas Mehta. Later on, when there were several other occasions when we worked together, Again, one experience I had with him was that he was very concerned about the officers' welfare, and Kerala is a little behind in providing creature comforts when compared to other states. And this is sometimes a bone of contention or a talk amongst officers. And at that time, we thought that none of us had a house in Trivandrum or Ernakulam or anywhere. So we thought that we'd float a cooperative society, and then we would get some land and we would build houses for the officers. Of course, I always think that Kerala is a land where people always like to torpedo one another. This is our very, very common trait, and I'm sure that many of you would agree with me. So our project, the Millennium Project, there were quite a few people who wanted to torpedo it. But we prevailed, and I still remember, we went to see, finally for final approval, the matter was taken to the Chief Minister. It was Shri A.K. Antony who was the Chief Minister. So Vishwas and I, along with another officer, we went to meet him in the guest house. He was in the guest house. And we presented our case. So the CM listened to us, and Vishwas said that, look, I have traveled 3,000 kilometers from Rajasthan to this place, and I don't have a house here. So you got to help us. And I think that really struck a chord with Sri A.K. Antony. And he immediately said that, okay, I'm going to approve your project, no problem. So that was one of those occasions which I still remember where Vishwas really played a very key role. And he also has this wonderful quality of empathizing with people. Now, this is a quality which not many people have got. You put yourself in the shoes of the other person and look at the world from a different perspective. Now, this is a quality which Vishwas really has got, and that helps people, it helps himself, and it also has helped him enormously in discharging his duties as an administrator. And throughout his career, I must make a special mention of his wife Preethi's role. She has been rock solid behind him. And Vishwas, I don't mind telling you that without Preethi, you would have reached nowhere. So I think that the credit actually goes to her. And yes, sir. But one has to once in a while, yes. Now, as you all know, political decision making is not a very transparent thing. It's a very complex thing. And sometimes you don't know who actually takes the decision. And when I was Chief Secretary, I must again say that Dr. Mehta was a Home Secretary, and he was really a bulwark, and he really supported me. And in whatever I could do, I think, again, a greater part of the credit should go to him, because as the American linguist Noam Chomsky has said, in all matters of governance, people, the public, are not really sometimes privy to what happens. And whether it is a democracy, whether it is an autocracy, whether it is a theocracy, the situation is pretty much the same. But to his credit, I must say that he has always tried to be transparent in his decision making. And this effort by Dr. Mehta to pen down his thoughts, his memos, and his experiences that happened to him in Kerala, it is a wonderful initiative, and I congratulate him, especially that he has done it in the local language, Malayalam. That is very important, so that more people would be able to read it, enjoy it, and understand it. And ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Vishwas Mehta, a man for all seasons. Thank you.
Dignitaries on and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the organizers for the kind invitation. I remember meeting Dr. Vishwas Mehta ji for the first time when he was the resident commissioner at Kerala House in Delhi. He was a very generous host. And I was a scientist at University of Oslo in Norway at that time. And I was visiting Delhi for a conference. And I remember him narrating many interesting stories, anecdotes from his long years of dedicated service. So I could instantly understand from lots of his stories and experiences that he's a very kind-hearted, gentlemanly officer with highest levels of ethics and integrity in public life. So I was just sort of floating the idea. At that time, I encouraged him to write a book narrating some of his anecdotes and experiences from his life and work, so that the younger generation can sort of imbibe and learn few life lessons from his life and work. So I'm delighted to see that project come alive today. I still remember him talking about taking some traditional artists for the first time in an international flight and giving them exposure to the outside world and so on. So I could understand that there is this passion for compassion, which is a very humane thing innate in him. And he was instrumental in setting up a medical college in his hometown, which I thought is an immensely impressive and a genteel thing to do. So this is a stellar example of practicing the motto of gratitude and giving back to society. And his policy making and initiatives during the pandemic, most of the people here know more than me, is another example of 24/7 selfless service to the Kerala society. So, in general, he has done outstanding work in all the tenures and positions he has held. And regarding the tourism management, there is even a Vishwas point in Wayanad. So I encourage more people to go and see that. So like that, there are countless fascinating examples in the book, which can be a lesson for the younger generation to sort of imbibe and younger officers to follow. So I encourage everyone to read this book, filled with lots of colorful anecdotes and heartwarming stories of public service. Many people also know that he's a very gifted singer, and his voice has an uncanny sort of resemblance to the legendary Mukesh Saab's voice. His recent concert in Calicut was a super hit. So I wish him a relaxed, retired life with a passion for his music and writing. Kerala and Keralites will dearly miss you, sir. And on that note, I'll end my talk. Thank you.
As most of us know, the first service that Dr. Vishwas Mehta got was the Indian Police Service. And the moment he broke the news that he's been selected for IPS, everyone in his organization, ONGC, who normally believe only in drilling, they were suddenly respectful to him. He noticed that everyone suddenly developed a newfound respect. And then by the evening, he said, okay, we'll take my friend. He decided to take his friends for a movie. And they went to the film. And the film started. 10 minutes later, the film stopped. And it was rerun. So they were wondering, why is the film being rerun after 10 minutes? Because a local SP had come there to see the movie 10 minutes later. And that was how he got the first, effect of policing, anyway. So, moving to the next felicitation, I would call upon very respected Shri Rishra Singh, former DGP, to offer felicitations. Thanks.
Respected Honorable Governor, sir, Shri Tom Jose, former Chief Secretary, sir, Dr. Venu, Chief Secretary, dear Vishwas, Loknath Behra, and Shri Rajiv Devrajan. Vishwas has been a batchmate, as you know. He was first selected in IPS service in 1985 to which me and Loknath belong. We were very close in police service. Not only that, we did parade and learned how to salute together as we were in same squad. We still indulge quite often, fondly, in good old memories of National Police Academy of our 8 months stay. Had he not got Kerala, he would have been going as an IPS officer at Madhya Pradesh, which quite often he says that proposition would also not have been very bad. One of his grievances always has been, sir, that though he almost topped the UPS in 1986, coming at number 9, but somehow he didn't get, not only he didn't get Rajasthan, but he got Kerala. In the later moments, during night, late in night, he has been mentioning this thing to me maybe for 1,000 times. He worked at numerous departments in Kerala. As Revenue Secretary, he handled rather infamous 2018's floods extremely well. He revolutionized the rain forecasting system in Kerala by bringing latest software in forecasting rains. As Chief Secretary, his style of working was very effective. His meetings would be short but crisp. He would immediately minute those meetings and would follow their implementation tirelessly. His golden moment came when he was appointed as Joint Secretary Health at Government of India. He tried to revolutionize that department also and gave some invaluable suggestions. One of the suggestions which most of us we may not be knowing, but as I used to visit him during his time over there, he told me he was the first to suggest to the Government of India that let every district of India has a medical college. And because of the Government of India took his suggestions very seriously, and now out of nearly 800 revenue districts of India, 751 medical colleges have been working. I see him more as a dear friend rather than a colleague, and this fantastic relationship has been underway since last 38 years. And I do intend to continue it in future also. I wish all the best for his upcoming biography. My regards for Miss Preeti Mehta, his wife, and her relatives who have come all the way from Jaipur and who are gracing today's this great function. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
All speakers here have been hailing Dr. Vishwas Mehta as a very nice gentleman. But he has known the price of being too good to people. Once in a foreign land, he found an Indian folklore artist without money and just with a ticket and no hotel to stay. So he offered him, why don't you come and stay in my room? So he happily came over. And they shared the bed literally. In the morning, he woke up a little late. But by the time he had found that the artist was ready, he had brushed his teeth, had his shave, everything. But then at that time, Dr. Vishwas Mehta had to look for another toothbrush because that gentleman had used his toothbrush. And this story, I think his batchmates would have heard the story from him earlier. And I'm sure that Loknath Behra sir, who is here, he also may have heard this story and may have more interesting stories to tell. May I invite him for the felicitation?
His Excellency, Honorable Governor of Kerala, very distinguished persons on the dais, of the dais, friends. Vishwas means trust. And I am sure, I have not read the book. He told me 15 days back in Kochi that he has written a book. I said that you have followed everybody, actually everyone in the civil services in our state to write the book. And he said that, look, I actually I wrote it in Malayalam. I was very amazed. I said, what did you write? Give galis to some fellows? He said, no. I wrote how an outsider comes and does administration in a state where he was not born, or the cultural difference is too much. And I am sure the book, going by his namesake, will have lost a lot of trustworthy facts, which will be inspiring many of the All India service officers who are coming from different parts of the country to work in this beautiful state. Of course, initial days when I was Police Commissioner Kochi, we were together. Vishwas was also posted there. We had a long association, as Rishi said, that in the National Police Academy, how he used to actually do the climbing with Rasa because he's a tall man, and all these things are all there. But the best part, I will tell something he has to be told. As Rishi said, one very interesting thing that I will just a little actually amend it in that way. He actually wrote a very beautiful report. I am actually I have seen in 2015 or 16, and he said that all the district hospitals in the whole country should be converted to medical colleges, if I am not incorrect about that. That is now happening right now. And as far as my association officially is concerned, from 2018 when he came back in 2017 end to the state, I was that time the state police chief, so he was in revenue. We worked together during the 2018 floods very closely. Then after that he became the Home Secretary, and we worked in many matters, including the COVID. Then he became the Chief Secretary. And during that time, from 2019 to 2021, probably we have never actually, there may not be a day when we have not talked to each other. That is the kind of thing which happened. And a man actually always, I will tell a small example. He used to sing very, very actually excellent replica of bouquets. So once I recorded one of his songs in my phone, and actually in Delhi I told somebody to listen to that. And trust me, nobody said that it is actually copied from Mr. Mukesh. It was so beautiful, so beautifully he sang that way. And when he became the Chief Secretary, I said that don't sing now. So always will say that the singing Chief Secretary. I said, you are a serious Chief Secretary, so you should be now actually very seriously that. He said, look, how can I leave that? I said that for the time being you leave it. I don't know whether he sang or not during that time, but after that he has been gifted with the great things from the top. We have three things in common. I studied geology, he studied geology. I joined the Oil and Natural Gas Commission, he also joined Oil and Natural Gas Commission. I joined the police, he also had joined the police. After that, there are too many things common because we used to spend a lot of time together actually talking to each other and finding very, very difficult situations and to find out solutions. One of the channels, it was a very unique thing happened in my time and his time when he was Chief Secretary. One of the channels here actually recorded our Onam program together, as he as the Chief Secretary, I as the State Police Chief. Anyway, he is blessed with Priti, she's more than a sister to me for the last so many years. Both the children are in US and they are very successful. And there is a good, actually extremely good human being, every time very helpful and always smiling, and let the book be a very big hit. I only told Vishwas that why don't you actually translate it to Hindi and English. He said he has promised that he will do it in due course so that many people from outside also can say. We have a lot of actually talented people like Tom Jose sir, Dr. Benu. Dr. Benu is a cultural icon, always say from his sub-collector days I know him. So I think all of you should write books. That is the, that will be, Tom Jose sir has been inspired. I'm sure Benu also will be, Dr. Benu also will be inspired to write good books. And so that will go down and that will actually inspire others like me whether to write a book or not. I have never thought of writing a book. But anyway, that is good, and may God bless all of Vishwas family. And lastly, I wanted to say, you are actually immensely privileged, Vishwas, that Honorable Governor of the state is releasing your book. And knowing his credentials, I don't have to say anything, what intellect and what kind of proficient person he is. Thank you, and God bless you.
We often see a saying from Bhagavad Gita, whatever has happened for good. Whatever is going to happen is also going to happen for good. But there is one, I was struck by one little episode in this book where I thanked Providence that something did not happen. He has mentioned about how grateful he is to his father, but he has also mentioned that his father was he used to be quickly angered. And one day, the author, who was an infant at that time, he was wailing away to glory, and his father was writing something, unable to concentrate. He got really angry. And he said, I don't want this kind of a wailing kid here. And he took him up and went to the balcony. Then his mother went after him and caught him and saved him. He says, if that had happened, then I think we would have missed a lot. He also, the book is also, I've seen this book as a kind of a case study in management, especially in governmental management, and also a case study in how patient one can be in dealing with people. And I'm sure that it will be a case study for chief secretaries also. And I'm sure that Dr. Venu, chief secretary who is here, he would also be finding it very interesting as lessons that can be emulated. May I now request Dr. V. Venu, chief secretary, to give the felicitations.
His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Vishwas Mehta, Shri Tom Jose, Shri Loknath Bera, Shri Rishraj Singh, Shri Rajiv, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a privilege to be standing before you in this August function and to say a few words about a person who I have long admired. Dr. Vishwas Mehta is one of the first officers that I met as a young probationer. And ever since, it has been my privilege to have been in his company over the years, and he has been extremely kind and generous with his time to me. So for all the advice that he has given me and for all the time he has spent with me, I would like to say thank you very much, sir, for it has been very good and extremely educational. As some of you may know, I have spent a lot of my time serving the sector of tourism. And the other sector which has taken a lot of my time is culture. And in both these sectors, Dr. Vishwas Mehta has left his imprint, not merely in this state, but in other arenas as well. And most of you here may know that his doctorate, we call him Dr. Vishwas Mehta, and his doctorate is in tourism, and in cultural tourism at that. I'm one of those people who have read his book right at that time, the thesis. I had asked for a copy of the thesis at that time. And I'm not very sure whether it was published as a book, sir. Perhaps you may, yeah. So at that time I had got a copy. But why do I say that this has influenced me? Right from the start, when from the subdivision onwards, as Mr. Thomjo's reminisced here, Dr. Vishwas Mehta had taken up tourism projects when tourism was not fashionable at that time, in the mid-80s, late 80s, and even later during his district. The works that he had started, the projects that he had started in tourism are still thriving. So I would, it would not be an exaggeration to say that Dr. Vishwas Mehta is perhaps the best tourism secretary that we never had. I know that during our private conversations, Dr. Mehta had mentioned to me that he wished that he had been given an opportunity to serve that sector as well. Similarly, in culture, as heading the Zonal Cultural Center, Dr. Vishwas Mehta had transformed the way cultural centers work in terms of sending people out to other zones on exchange programs and taking the cultures of the western region of the country to other regions. I think, again, Dr. Mehta created a new playbook on which other zonal centers started copying themselves, started modeling themselves. And that is a characteristic I think he's carried through his other assignments as well. We officers always think that we have done something in whichever job given to us. And I think the private, the private sense of accomplishment that we carry back when we leave a job is how people remember you in that job. And even today, to this day, you go to Mananthavadi, you go to Wayanad, and they remember Vishwas Mehta. And that is 37 years ago. And I can safely say this for any job that Dr. Vishwas Mehta has held. His colleagues and people, his stakeholders remember him, his efficiency, his generosity, with a lot of love and affection. And I think that is the best legacy that one can leave when one completes one's tenure in a position. He has served the state government in very distinguished ways, as in some of the most important positions. The health sector has been transformed because of his long stint as health secretary. The revenue secretary, I still remember that I've had the fortune of following him in several of these positions. I still remember in revenue, very complex matters written almost entirely in Malayalam. And then there will be this succinct, brilliant draft note which would have summarized the issue and which would have provided a solution, and inevitably that solution would have been accepted by the political masters. So that shows an officer's analytical power, sense of reasoning, and finally, an extremely decisive way of presenting a solution. And these are the characteristics that I think most officers should aspire to have. And to that extent, Dr. Vishwas Mehta is a role model for all officers who come after him, because he's set very high standards for us. I, for one, in the role of Chief Secretary, I've been privileged to see his directions, his notes, as was commented here. You take a meeting and you forget about it. A Chief Secretary takes 10 meetings a day on an average. And the minutes come a month later, 2 months later. They never come at all. But Dr. Mehta had made it a point to prepare his own minutes. So the very next day, however small or big the meeting was, there would be a short minute of the meeting with specific directions sent to the concerned secretary. I have tried to emulate that in my time these days. And I've been telling everybody that, look, this is the way that you can get things done before, when the memory is fresh, when the decision is fresh in the memory of people. You must drive it home so that the decisions are taken immediately. So here we have somebody who will serve in memory to serve a generation, many generations of officers, of how a fine officer, a gentleman, and a leader should be. I wish you all the very best, sir, and certainly This book is going to be well received by everybody. I'm looking forward to reading this. All the best.
I would like to tell you that Madhrubhumi Books has arranged a counter here where people interested can get copies of the book from there, of course on payment. Thank you. And may I now request Dr. Vishwas Mehta, Chief Information Commissioner and author of the book, to give the vote of thanks.
Respected Honorable Governor of Kerala, Shri Arif Mohammed Khan Sahab, special dignitaries present on the dais, my family friends, family members, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Words fail me to express my gratitude to Shri Arif Mohammed Khan, Honorable Governor, and Dr. C.V. Anand Bose for blessing me with this incredible moment of my life. This is perhaps my last formal function in the civil services, and it coincides with a special day, celebrating my birthday along with my wife Preeti. Yes, we are both born on the same day. We are both born on 19th February, sir. Today, on the same day with the difference of 4 years and 7 minutes. In Dungarpur and Udaipur towns of Rajasthan, barely 100 kilometers apart. I just wish to point out that this book is not about myself. We may call it biography, but it is not about myself. Rather, it is a documentation of saga of struggle and survival across 3 generations. That is why it is called Athijeevanam. That is why it's called survival. The book starts with the story of my grandmother, who was widowed at 26 years age, with 3 children to look after. The youngest boy, my father, whom Honorable Governor has met a couple of times, was 2 years old when he lost his father and did not remember his face. He studied under the street lights with borrowed books and clothes and went on to become an international geoscientist and professor at Punjab University, Chandigarh. I miss him today, sir. Amongst us, though I feel his presence around me all the time. This vacant chair perhaps represents him sitting here and blessing us. This story is also about a frog which jumps out of a well in a backward tribal district of Dungarpur and discovers a big ocean outside, thanks to his father who got a job in Chandigarh. Destiny makes him the first IPS and then the first IAS officer in his Janmabhoomi, Dungarpur in Rajasthan. I am glad, sir, you have seen that place. You can understand that how backward is that district. The destiny again brought him and made him jump into another well, Kerala, which becomes his Karma Bhumi. And that is what this book is all about. How survival of a frog in a Karma Bhumi happens. The extraordinary journey of 4 decades leaves behind a wealth of experience and lifetime lessons. Coming from a humble background, it was important for me to document and share these ups and downs of roller coaster ride of life and career with people of Kerala, where my entire youth was spent. As told by many speakers here, I was 24, 25 years old. Myself, Loknath Behra, Rishiraj, we were all very, very young. 25 years old, we had no clue about the state. This was our first visit to Kerala. The tales in this book comprise of a young IAS officer who came here with 2 suitcases at 25 years of age at Quilon, where Anand Bose sir was my collector, learned the language, slept on the floor after marriage because I didn't have furniture and cots, and went on a scooter to the same secretariat where I became chief secretary because I didn't have a car. And these are real life stories which at times appear stranger than fiction. This book is not about Vishwas, and that's why I have not used the word I here also. It is about every young man with humble background to aspire a destiny he or she dreams, strives, or deserves. It's a fact. What we get in our life is destiny. but how we get it is efforts. Many of you present here have been mentioned in this book, many of you, as you were my fellow travelers in this extraordinary journey of 35 years. I am grateful to a whole lot of people who came all the way to Kerala, many of them for the first time, sitting on the left side, who came to Kerala for the first time to be part of this amazing special event of my life. My schoolmate Ajay Gupta, he is here with his wife. He is coming first time to Kerala. He came from Mumbai. Mr. Sudesh Jain and his wife Rama, whom I know for last 35 years, is sitting here. Another, my neighbor Viju, he's come all the way. He's looking after the Global Public School. He's mentioned in the book. He's known for last 35 years. My 30 years music association, Nayan Shah, the gentleman sitting in the front and who brought a memento. From Calicut he has come. Pradeep Menon is there. Where is Pradeep? He is my singing companion every week. When Loknath Behra asked me not to sing, this is how I survived. Pradeep Menon used to come to my house or I'll go to his house. And nobody else knows about it. They are all here. Shri Sajid Preetham is here. Dr. Kishore is here. Dr. Nathani could not come, but his son has come. I mentioned about them in the book. Shri George Joseph from Ernakulam has come. He's a fan of my music. Architect Narendra Mehta has come, all the way from Delhi. My staff, Haja, Ranjit, drivers and others who became part of my extended family. My first cousin Gopindra Bhatt. In fact, he is responsible for he's a witness to all important events in my life. Right from fixing my marriage with Preeti. And he has come with his entire family for the first time, though I have been requesting for the last 5-10 years. My special thanks to Shri Bipin Sharma, who has come from Bangalore. He is father-in-law of my son, Dhruv, who is presently in Dubai. He has come all the way from Bangalore, and many of them are leaving, sir, tomorrow, 20th. They came because they wanted to be part of this function. And that's why I requested, sir, even though at inconvenience to you, coming straight from airport, you have allowed us to be here. They are all leaving, most of them are leaving on 20th. Special words of gratitude to Dr. Rajendru, epigraphist and Fulbright scholar who could not come here, but who spent many sleepless nights helping me to write this book in Malayalam. I was speaking and he was typing. Thanks are also due to Dr. Ashwin, astrophysicist, who persuaded me to write this book. This book would not have been possible but for Shri Shams Kumar, ex-MP and MLA, and head of Mathrubhumi family, known to me from Wayanad days. And their entire team. Sir, it's a very professional team, I must say. Such fantastic work they have done. For a person like me who doesn't know local language, they did an excellent job of proofreading, writing the whole thing, editing it, and doing it despite the Mathrubhumi festival book festival going on. They did fantastic. So I'm really grateful that Shri Rajiv Devrajan, executive editor of Mathrubhumi, is representing the Mathrubhumi family, and we are proud of this association. Thanks are also due to Shri Tom Jose, who was my chief secretary, my boss, and good friend, earlier as well as after that. I acknowledge the presence of my district collector, Mr. Michael Veshurumani, and his wife. He has been mentioned in the book because he was attacked by elephants, sir. You went to Wayanad. You went to Wayanad because the elephant attacks. He himself was attacked. And I mentioned in the book, you know. So this human life confrontation is going on for last so many years, sir. Sir. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely right, sir. I thank profusely Loknath Behra and Rishiraj Singh for gracing this occasion. They are not only my batchmates, and they are like my brothers in arms, and more like family than colleagues. Thanks are also to Dr. Venu. Thank you so much for your kind words. You are the present CS. We are so proud of you. I still remember a visit to Manantwadi when I was sub-collector, and you were amazed at what we were trying to do in the tea estate there. Thanks for the presence of two of my state commissioners, Information Commissioner Dr. Dilip and Abdul Hakim Saab, and Mr. Somanath Pilla. We were colleagues and we have become friends now. He has demitted the office now. I acknowledge the presence of Mr. Somarajan, ex-DGP. He is here. Yeah. And U.V. Jose, who has been mentioned, he was Wayanad collector. He is also mentioned in this because tourism in Wayanad we could do only because of him. Fabi is there. He was working in a plantation company that time. My batchmate is here, P.H. Kurian. In fact, 2018, he handled the floods, not me. I had demitted the Office of Revenue Secretary, but we handled post-flood things later on. Satyajit Rajan is here. He is not only my colleague, but a good friend. Balram Upadhyay is there. He has attended some of my music concerts in Calicut when he was police commissioner, and we are friends from that. There are a lot of people from banks here who are present here, and they have all come. I also miss very fondly my dear friends, late Shri Arun Kumar Sinha, who died recently, late Yukesh Chauhan, and late Shri P.G. Tenzing of Kerala cadre, whom I miss a lot. Last but not the least, the bedrock of support, as mentioned here, is my wife Preeti, raison d'etre of my existence. No doubt, sir, you are right, sir. I wish I can say that same for all of us, because it's a fact of life. Without them, we cannot actually succeed in our life, personally or professionally. And thanks to her, that Athijeevanam survival of this frog, this Koop Mundak, Vishwas, would not have been possible. Thanks to my both sons, Eklavya and Dhruv, who are not here. Their lovely wives, Sirisha and Madhulika, who became my daughters, not daughters-in-law, and who fulfilled our life with happiness and imbibed all the finer values of life. Thanks to Dr. Dodhawat. Thanks to Mr. Mohan, he's here, Mr. Prince, Mrs. Bibina from Raj Bhavan for all the support, sir. Profound thanks to Honorable Governor, Arif Mohammed Khan. Sir, I must confess one thing. I have, as West Zone Culture Center, I have interacted with Justice Ansuman Singh, he was my governor, Madhulal Khurana ji, I have with Pratibha Patil ji, but I have never been fascinated by more than a person like you. And the reason is very simple, sir. I'm just not saying just to praise you in your own place. I am sitting in Raj Bhavan. I'm saying this because you are a true man of letters. The way you quote Vedas and Upanishads, you quote ayats from the Quran. It's amazing, it's fascinating. You are a man of knowledge and wisdom, a real statesman. People may call you active governor, as some people said, but every time I met, I must confess, without fear, without favor, and without prejudice, I must say that I felt enlightened. I learned something from you, sir. I'm really grateful to you for giving me this occasion. After spending 4 decades in the government, I'm leaving Kerala on 15th March with 2 suitcases which I came from and a heavy heart to finally settle down after shifting my house 23 times. God has been kind to bless me with great sense of fulfillment and pride as a civil servant, and my humble pranam to this Karma Bhumi Kerala, to my Janbhumi Dungarpur, and all the people present here who made this journey truly spectacular and extraordinary. Thank you once again.
Dr. V. Venu IAS, Chief Secretary, Dr. Vishwas Mehta, Shri Rishiraj Singh Ji, Shri Loknath Behra Ji, Dr. Tom Jose, Shri G.G. Thompson Ji nahi hai. He is not here. Dr. Rajendu, he is not here. Rajiv Ji, huh? It's on the page. Where? It's on the page. Shri Rajiv Devrajan. Ladies and gentlemen, Elavarkum ente vandanam. In a very, other speakers have also referred to, but Dr. Vishwas Mehta, when he talked about the first chapter of his book, it was so moving and touching that a beautiful Sanskrit words came to my mind, which I immediately jotted down. Suto vasut putro vayova kova bhavam meham deva yattam kule janma mada yattantu paurusham. Whether I am Sut in Sanskrit is both the weaver, and the charioteer. Whether I am Sooth or I am son of a Sooth, or I may be anybody, born in any family. In which family one is born is decided by gods or by destiny. Whatever one achieves in life is decided by your purusharth, by your industry, by your resolve, by your efforts. Honestly, I'm telling you, I feel proud as an Indian that in a society where during the period of decline and fall, professions were decided by the fact in which family you are born into. Today, anybody can aspire for any position. A tea sailor's son is Prime Minister of the country. So, a grandmother who became widow at the age of 26, and father who was just 2 years old when he lost his Mr. Vishwas Mehta's grandfather. I feel proud of you, Vishwasji. Really proud of you. And your book is important in the sense you have already explained that you have not written your own story. So the way you have described it, I am sure it will be a source of inspiration for many youngsters and kind of manual for the young IAS recruits to guide them. And the other wonderful thing which you have done, which I really admire, is that you chose to write your autobiography in Malayalam language, the language which you had adopted because you were a Kerala cadre IAS officer. I'm very happy. And that again reflects true spirit of the Indian culture, Indian lingual tradition, which of course is part of cultural tradition. Our tradition tells us that sarvagyam tad aham bande paran jyotish tapo aham pirvirtayan mukhad devi sarv bhasha saraswati. It is not a question of this is my language and this is your language. The Indian tradition says that all the languages which are spoken in the world, not just in India, anywhere, all these languages are dialects of Mother Saraswati. And then it says that there cannot be a more effective medium to understand the cultural values of any people than learning their language. That is the most effective and powerful method to build bridges, to connect people, and a civilization and culture which is not defined by color of the skin or language which one speaks or the manner in which you give expression to your faith, your belief. Rather, this civilization and culture is defined by Atma. All-inclusive Atma, which is the common inheritance of all mankind. You cannot leave anybody outside. Not even animals, birds, or the living beings who are in the waters. So you have honored that the spirit of that Indian lingual tradition. And I am sure that of course I will also comment, but I think even without anybody's commending it, there will be a huge readership for this book. That is my confidence. I trust that there will be many people will read this book, and this book should be translated into other languages as well. Since you are well known, you are also known for a melodious voice, and particularly the songs of Mukesh. So I don't see films, so I do not know much about it, but I'm interested in music. Music interests me to a limited extent. But I think I will translate it because he was a film songwriter, Sahil Ludhianvi. So I don't exactly remember whether this is part of a film song or not. I recited, then you will tell me. Yes. Good. He's master of that. दुनिया ने तजर्बात व हवादिस की शक्ल में जो कुछ मुझे दिया है वो लौटा रहा हूं मैं. Whatever the world has given to me in the form of my experiences and major events of my life, all that I am returning back in the form of a book, in the form of a poetry. Yes, and he started with that. You are absolutely right. मुझे बहुत उतना नहीं मालूम, but you have reminded me that I had read it there. So, and then our former Chief Secretary Tom Joseph was saying that he is also going to write a book now. And it is true. Everybody has a story to tell. There is no doubt. Everyone has some experience worthy of sharing. But to become a writer, I'm just warning you. But to become a writer, you need to be wounded, either physically or spiritually. But actually, it is not necessary to suffer personally or suffer this wound personally, because we live in a world which is full of so much pain and suffering that a sensitive heart is enough to make somebody a writer. It is not necessary that you suffer personally. Only a sensitive heart is sufficient. So, and again, the Indian tradition says that Shlok is born out of Shok. Shoka Shlokatva Magata. The famous story of Adikavi Valmiki, where he says he did not suffer the wound himself. He had a sensitive heart. He saw two mating birds, and one of them was killed by a hunter. And when that fell down, then the other started lamenting. And those lamentations made him say two lines which were in verse. And then he was surprised that they are, this is a verse. And he became the Adi Kavi who composed the Ramayana. So, sensitivity is absolutely, just now when you said that that he was also attacked by some wild animal in Manantwadi. I went there yesterday. Last night I was in the forest guest house of the Manantwadi. I try to tell people, I said that like natural calamity, these things, they are very unfortunate, but they do happen. But their complaint, why they were on the road, I'm very sorry to say, lack of sensitivity, lack of expression of empathy for those who have suffered. You can't stop these things. Even if you make very strong arrangements, even then some accident can happen. But what people generally do not accept is lack of sensitivity and lack of expression of empathy. And when I was saying that for a writer it is absolutely, it is not necessary to suffer personally, but it is absolutely necessary to have a sensitive heart. There is a famous dialogue in Mahabharata where Janmejaya, the great grandson of Arjun, who had organized the Sarp Satra, the sort of campaign to kill all the Nagas, then Astika questions him, and he says that because my father was killed by one of the Nagas, therefore I will finish them. I am fighting for Dharma. Then Astika tells him, Dharma is not about justice. Dharma is about empathy, that is compassion and wisdom. Dharma is not about justice alone. Empathy and compassion is absolutely important. And that comes from a sensitive heart. Our friend, I don't want to tell. No, first thing I should have done was to apologize to every one of you. Because of my program, this was delayed by 2 hours. 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So I really apologize to all of you. I'm very sorry, but I had to rush to Wayanad. But our friend Shri Rajiv Devrajanji said that most active governor. I do not know what active really means. I do not know what active, because I do not think that others are not active, they are inactive or they are passive. That is not the case. The only thing is that although I have passed that age, but I am still living Grihastha ashram. I have not taken sannyas. I am still living, and now the world has changed, so the age bar has also been up. Our tradition tells us how you have, this is the most important ashram out of the 4. Because all other 3 ashrams, they depend on this ashram. This is the ashram where you create wealth, you create resources, you become source of support to all other 3 ashrams. Therefore, it is considered the most important. And it has been very, very clearly laid down how you have to live this ashram. Brahma nishtho girhasta syat tat gyan parayana yad yad karma pirkirvita tad brahmani samarpaye. The householder shall live his life. The process of learning is over after brahmacharya and when you enter into the grihasthashram. But that pursuit of knowledge should not stop. You should try to know the essence of things. Brahma nishto grihastha. Yad yad karma pirkirvita. Whatever are the prescribed duties, tad brahmani samarpayet. What does it mean? It means as if the actions which you are undertaking as part of your prescribed duties, as if you are offering worship to the deity in which you believe. I have taken an oath. I have to work accordingly. And I shall be totally focused on it. And if I may again quote from a beautiful verse from our one of our ancient texts, Punkhanu vishayanu upaseva mano dhiro na munchati mukunda padar vindam sangeet vadya lay tal vasham gatapi Maulistha kumbha parirakshana dhir nativ. How you should work with a focused mind. And simile of a dancing girl has been used. The dancing girl on the rope. There is music, all kind of noise around her. She has this clay pot on her head, but she is not distracted by the noise, by the music, by the song, sangeet, vadya, lay, tal. Nothing distracts her. All her attention is on that pot of clay. She has to protect it and walk on the rope. This is how, sir, in my opinion, one has to be totally focused, not to be distracted, and you see so many people here who have pursued successfully their careers. The success, unless you are very focused, it is not just Indian tradition. Even the modern books of management will tell you that unless you are totally focused on the target, what you want to do, success will evade you. If we want to achieve success, then we must try, whatever we are doing, we must have the feeling that we are doing this in the divine presence. In Arabic, a beautiful word has been used, taqwa. That whatever you are doing, you don't need certificate from anybody else. Just feel that nobody may be watching you, but God is watching you. And if you have that feeling, then you will save yourself from going astray. I give my best wishes to Dr. Vishwas Mehta. I highly commend this book, and I am confident that this book will inspire many youngsters, and this will become like a manual for the young IAS probationers. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, valli nanne, Jai Hind.